You allowed the system to go forward with no encryption on backup systems. They had no encryption on certain boundary crossings. You accepted a risk on behalf of every user of this computer that put their personal financial information at risk because you did not even have the most basic end-to-end test on security of this system. Amazon would never do this. ProFlowers would never do this. Kayak would never do this. This is completely an unacceptable level of security.
All right, folks, that was Mike Rogers reading the Riot Act to Kathleen Sebelius. You remember her. Yes, and what has changed? Well, once again, and I love this. Once again, our friends at Judicial Watch have uncovered exclusively HHS documents, and they show really shocking high-risk security problems with the Obamacare website. And we welcome in the president of Judicial Watch, also New York Times best-selling author and producer, Tom Fitton. Hey, Tom. Hello, Tom.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I do. Thank you, Tom, for coming back. You know, before we even get to what the problems are, isn't it true that when Target or somebody is hacked or the information gets out, they have to tell us, but when the Obamacare website is hacked or information gets out, they're not required by law to let the consumer or people who are signed up from that website know that their information may be or is at risk, correct?
Well, arguably they are. And maybe they are in violation of the law. I don't know. Our lawyers are looking at this issue now. I mean, if you put information on the Obamacare website and expect it to be private, you know, you might as well be putting it in a your child's piggy bank and leaving it in the middle of the street or something. I mean, it's going to get opened. It's at risk of getting opened. And we have documents, again, that Congress was unable to get that more fully disclose these security risks, and that the Obama administration knowingly knew about these risks and yet allowed the healthcare.gov website to open and put the privacy protected data of millions of Americans potentially at risk.
All right. Well, I want to hear what you discovered, what the documents say. But you know, this goes back to the beginning. I mean, this goes back where the Congress and the committees, I don't remember which specific committee, had hackers. You know, they called hackers to ask how easy it would be to hack this site. They had security experts who and I remember they lined up like 3 or 4 of them in a row, and just a yes or no, would you put your information on here? No, 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 no. I mean, so this is something that we've known about, yet it goes unchecked. So tell us what you have discovered here.
Well, we knew that from a prior release by Congress, but it was redacted that there was essentially limitless security risk to Obamacare, this website, and they weren't planning on fixing it for almost a year, well over a year in one respect. As a matter of fact, one due date over one of the security flaws was to be fixed by February 26, 2015. And they weren't putting material that they had found that was security related and needed to be addressed in a database so that others could follow up on it. They found, and this is what we found that Congress was unable to find, that the marketplaces, the exchanges, have an open high finding, which means that macros enabled on uploaded files allow code to execute automatically. Now, your computer security people watching this are going to think, holy moly, I don't even understand it as I read it, but it sounds to me like you can upload material onto the website and it would start running. And running meaning getting information that you're not able to get on a secure website, meaning security information, names, birth dates, and medical information. The most private information you're entrusting with the government, it's seemingly sitting there for the taking for hackers who are inclined to get it. It's very serious, and there needs to be a consumer warning on this website. And as you point out, if it was a private company, they'd be subject to criminal investigation over what was going on in terms of its failure, this healthcare.gov's knowing failure to put this information at risk and open it for business knowing they couldn't protect this information from being disclosed. Your information. You wanted healthcare from Obama's healthcare website. Your information was put at risk.
Yeah, no, it is very frightening, and you know, this the threat and risk potential being limitless. This security flaw in the healthcare.gov website. You know, you have to ask, and of course, you know,
Steve, they weren't concerned about the risk to privacy. They were when you look at what the risk ratings were, they weren't talking about privacy. They were talking about significant political, financial, and legal damage. Again, exploitation of the vulnerability may cause slight financial loss or, quote, public embarrassment.
Yeah.
Public embarrassment,
no, you're
political damage. Nothing about our privacy.
Well, I mean, you know, again, unfortunately, this is another story that is huge, and another story that the media just pretends is not out there. Now, as more and more people, you know, maybe sign up through another enrollment period that's fast approaching, if it hasn't already begun, you know, they need to be made aware of this security risk.
Yeah, I mean, there's one that they haven't deemed to fix until February of next year. Another one that they had found, they said they didn't need to fix until February earlier of this year. I mean, you know, that is so negligent and so violative of the public trust. You know, I just can't believe that this administration is able to get away with it. It violates our right to privacy. It arguably violates federal privacy laws, both related to health care and privacy generally. You know, the federal government, if it takes your private records, they can't essentially, let's say you have an FBI file, they can't take that file and leave it on a park bench. You know, that would be violation of the law. If they got systems that allow that to happen, they're in violation of the law. And who knows what the violations potentially are of the healthcare privacy law, which are really strict. And then it's something that doctors and hospitals and medical care professionals and basic businesses are deathly afraid of violating for fear of massive fines and liability. This administration thinks those laws don't really either apply to them or that the principles behind them are no importance, and that you know, our security is of secondary nature to their political desire to get this site up and running in a way that didn't harm them politically.
All right, so Tom, so what's the next step here? I mean, you know, with regard to the IRS, you're in a continuing legal battle with the IRS, and you represent clients, et cetera. What's your role here beside exposing this, and what could you do about it?
Well, you know, if anyone had their Privacy Act protected material or their material leaked inappropriately as a result of these security flaws or as a result of other misconduct by HHS or CMS, and I know there have been reports, those people may have possible claims against the government. And you know, if you think you've been harmed, let us know, and we'll figure it out and see if there's anything we can do about it.
All right, Tom, always great to talk to you, sir. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Hey, Steve, and thank you for covering this, because we got this, we got the IRS going on this week, we've got big news on Benghazi with the beginning of the hearings. Tracking the Obama scandals is a full-time job, and we appreciate your commitment to keeping your listeners and Newsmax readers informed of what's going on.
Well, we appreciate you doing a wonderful part for the country, because, as you said, these are documents that you obtained through Judicial Watch, through your court proceedings that the Congress doesn't get their hands on. So kudos to you. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you. All
right, Tom Fitton, ladies and gentlemen, president of Judicial Watch. It is just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And here's the problem. The problem, yes, is an administration run amok. The problem is an administration that doesn't care. The administration that's ruthless and reckless and irresponsible and maybe breaking the law, you know, in various policies and things that they do. But we have a media that does not care. Because it's Obama. Because it's a Democrat. The double standard is unbelievable. The IRS scandal is a huge, huge deal when it comes to abuse. The revelations uncovered by the committees and especially by Judicial Watch. Outrageous. They're not covering it. They're not telling the public about it. That's why it's not a huge story. That's why people are talking about it in the streets. And this too. How are they going to find out about it when the major networks won't tell the people about this? It's outrageous. All right, folks, we'll be back next. We're going to keep talking about it, though. That I can tell you. Give Me 5 is next. Don't go away.